lots more.
Folks, welcome back to the show where it's not wrestling with your budget. It's not wrestling with your conscience. It's not even wrestling with the king or the queen in the throne room. It is wrestling with emotion. And of course, we got our panel in here because it is a big day. It is time to stop thinking. It is time to stop overanalyzing. It is time to start dreaming. So let's get our dreamers in here with the dreamer's disease. We got Slick L on a Slick Saturday. We got the head of the table, Michael J. Partham. Gents, WrestleDream today, and AEW needs kind of a big show here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the card looks a little mid, as Maxwell Jacob Friedman would say. You know what? That was great timing. That's one I can never complain about. Yeah, it'd be nice to see him today, spice up a card. We could have a couple other surprises. You never know. WrestleDream tends to have that. That was the inaugural. We saw the debut of Adam Copeland. MVP's been brewing things up, and Swerve Strickland is coming back. So some things could happen, some decent matches, but yeah, overall, kind of a mid card.
Yeah, I mean, a world championship match with implications, international championship match with some intrigue, I guess, and Swerve's back. But overall, I'm just not feeling this.
I'm not feeling it.
But there is a little bit of a shakeup going in AEW. News broke last night that the right-hand man, one of the right-hand men, because he's got a lot of them apparently, of Tony Khan, Jimmy Jacobs, has resigned from the creative team. The word going around in the streets is he was one of the guys responsible for the learning tree gimmick. So if that's the case, then good riddance.
Bitch.
I mean, it really is. I mean, I don't hate the learning tree, but if you look at all of Jericho's sticks in AEW, it's probably been the worst.
And it's also like there's so many more people you could have on TV, and like part of the gimmick is like I love my TV time, and it's like you're just blatantly taking away from young stars that you want to build up. So
yeah,
as much as I joke that I love the learning tree, I do think it's hilarious. But yeah, good riddance.
I think he has a little bit more self-awareness, but Chris Jericho low-key like the Aaron Rodgers of the AEW roster.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Minus the psychedelics.
Minus the psychedelics. Speaking of psychedelics, you don't need psychedelics to endure a WrestleDream because we'll have it tonight in Tacoma, Washington, or Tacoma Arena in Washington. With that said, let's get ready and we're ready to get right in the predictions, gents.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right. Well, with that said, let's start out with a banger. M by M collection, Mansoor and Mason Madden with TBA. TBA can always be dangerous. Versus the Acclaimed, Anthony Bowens, Max Caster with Billy Gunn. So the with TBA isn't even going to be in the match.
Wait, who are they supposed to allegedly be with? They got a mystery manager or something?
I have no idea, but the Wikipedia had with TBA listed as a very crucial part of the situation.
I don't know what's going on there. It doesn't matter. I think the Acclaimed are going to win.
Okay. If you're an AEW fan, make sure you're chiming in on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or whatever. But all right, Parthy, you got the Acclaimed. Slick?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Acclaimed.
Yeah, I'll go with the Acclaimed here too. I could see Tony Khan giving, the M by M a win, especially because the Acclaimed are as close to a pillar of AEW as you get. But ultimately, I think if we're going to keep this shtick going, they need to have some positivity around them every so often. So let's give them the win. We got a clean sweep from our panel out the gate on the Acclaimed. Next match coming up. Ain't no junk in the trunk in this one. We got Harley Cameron versus Anna Jay. I don't know. I just feel like Anna Jay is kind of like a Dolph Ziggler of AEW. So I'm gonna go with Harley Cameron to get a win here in what should be a decent match.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the wrestling in this match. I think it's going to be a very technically sound match. Going to give Bryan Danielson and Moxley a run for their money later tonight, I think. But Anna Jay, I think as much as you say that, Maniac, I thought it was a pretty good comparison. Anna Jay had a recent trip to Japan. I think she was wrestling the New Japan circuit for a bit, and Harley Cameron is just kind of Soraya's Robin to Batman fodder. It's honestly rare to see her in a match unless she wrestles on Rampage often. I wouldn't know. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Anna Jay because I think they sent her to Japan for a reason. Get some reps out there with some more technical wrestlers, come back, and she gets the dub here.
Yeah, you're looking forward to the technical wrestling in this match. Like I look forward to reading the articles in Playboy or whatever the hell. But yeah, Anna Jay's going to get this. She just got back from
What's
Japan.
Playboy?
And Harley Cameron's basically cannon fodder.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a good call.
Harley Cameron's cannon fodder.
From a wrestling
This is a
perspective.
WrestleDream, Parthy.
Jeez.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I
this is a
mean, you don't book
this
this on WrestleDream for nothing, Partham. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. I don't think she's gonna get stomped.
I think this is a 5-star classic incoming. Meltzer, get your ratings ready, bud.
Oh, you thought the opening match last week was good? Well, get ready for the opening match this week. Is what Harley Cameron and Anna Jay are gonna say.
The opening match last week was a gimmick match.
Is Anna Jay's shtick still the huge butt?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, but it was for a while, right? I'm not making that up.
I have a huge ass, and I have a fat ass, and I'll choke you out. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
when she was with Jericho, she was yelling at everybody, "I'll choke you out," and that.
Yes. Okay. Very fair. Very fair. Speaking of fair, WrestleDream, we got our guy Brian Cage, who does have a win over Megabyte Ronnie, versus Atlantis Jr., champion for the ROH World Television Champion. Now, this match, I really don't even know anything about.
Guys, can I just say,
see Phil wagging the tail in the background? That's my brain trying to work on this one. What do you got, Parthy?
Can we just abstain from this? I don't know who the hell Atlantis Jr. is. Ring of Honor is irrelevant unless it's featured regularly on Dynamite. Can we just call this a wash and say the hell with it?
No.
I mean, no, we can't. It's on the show, Parthy. We're Parthy. This is not the show where the show where it's negotiating out of picks. This is wrestle with emotion.
So you just don't want to stain your record, is what
I don't know who the hell to pick because I don't know anything about these guys. I barely know Brian Cage is the jobber guy that used to be with Don Callis or whatever manager he has these days.
Dude, if I didn't pick for every match that I didn't know shit about, I'd have like less than half of what I do.
Slick would never pick if that was the case.
WWE would be bye-bye on my radar. Fuck it. Let's go with Brian Cage.
So what I'm reading is apparently Atlantis Jr. is a luchador.
He's actually, no, Atlantis Jr. because they were making a big deal about him last time he was on TV.
Wait, is he a luchador or a lucha whore?
Definitely not. It's definitely not the second one.
You gotta know these things.
Actually, he could be. I don't know.
Yeah, he could be a dirty boy.
Yeah. No, I do remember him being on TV recently. I forget what it was. It might have even been Collision, so I don't know why I was watching. But they were making a big deal about him and his dad. And to Parthy's point, I don't really know much about this dude either. But apparently his dad's like a legend in Mexico. So I'm gonna go with Atlantis Jr.
Yeah, I was gonna say if all things being equal, go with the champion to retain. Brian Cage is basically Ring of Honor's Lance Archer. He's a big guy there to get people over in a match. So yeah, go with Atlantis Jr., I guess.
I mean, Lance Archer's had some bangers in AEW. So
he just got traded to the Don Callis family.
Yeah, and he'll beat a few jobbers to make himself look strong, and then lose to somebody in the semi undercard or whatever the hell.
That's hurtful. That's hurtful rhetoric. But okay, so we're all sweep on Atlantis Jr.
Sure.
Yep.
The guy we don't know anything about, AJ. Oh, wait, hold on. Is Big AJ wrestling at this one, or is he getting a smaller show?
No, you're joking. I don't think is he on this card?
No, he's not on WrestleDream, but he should be.
You imagine?
It'd be amazing.
No, I don't see him.
But speaking of enthusiasm and newcomers, hi guys, Chris Jericho with Big Bill and Braggy. By the way, Big Bill should be the one challenging for this title. Challenging Mark Briscoe for the ROH World Championship. Parthy, this is one you know a lot about the wrestlers, so why don't you give us a little breakdown on what you got going down on this one?
You know what? That's a good call about Big Bill. I could see him being a future Ring of Honor World Champion. He would fit nicely into that spot with little momentum, popularity he's had going on lately. But for the time being, we're not going to get
momentum and
little momentum.
popularity.
Are you serious?
Did you see London?
Yeah, in London. How much in the States? I mean, maybe not as much, maybe a little bit, but okay. So Chris Jericho's invoking Jay Briscoe to get under Mark's skin. I don't see Chris Jericho becoming what's number 9? the Nueve champion or whatever. He's going to stay the Ocho for the time being. He's going to put over Mark Briscoe, so Mark retains.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing more needs to be said, really, other than I was even surprised at bringing Jay into it, even from Chris Jericho. That was kind of fucked up. But just based on that, even more, I'm going to go Mark.
Yeah, I think you got to go Mark here. If Jericho, I mean, Jericho beat Hook. Jericho's almost beaten everybody this last year to 15 months after his run where he was putting everybody over, including what was that guy who he put over on the Action Andrade?
Yeah, Action Andretti. Yeah,
Action Andretti.
Action Andretti. Yeah, but all I'm saying is that didn't really work out when you look at it. I'm sure he's probably regretting that a little bit. But I think
all his TV time.
Yeah, I think the lessons are over. It's time for the learning tree to deal out a beating. So I got, unfortunately, Mark Briscoe taking him down though in this one and not becoming the Nuevo, as Parthy said. So we got a sweep on Mark Briscoe. We also got Briscoe from Micah. With that said, this next one should be a banger. Let's go in. Darby Allin versus Brody King. This is like your stereotypical wrestling match. You got your scrawny person who looks like he could be eaten by the other guy wrestling an absolute behemoth. So Slick, why don't you start this one up? Why don't we go to Parthy and then I'll wrap it up.
Yeah, great rivalry. These guys have all had a history of really good matches and really good storyline. I think the swerve of having Moxley go over Darby when Darby had the title shot to begin with, going into Washington, nonetheless, is because these reports were coming out about plans for Darby Allin to be a future World AEW champion. So it was making everyone look like that was what was going to happen. And then they were like, hold your horses, not just yet. So it's kind of an odd route to go, but Darby in this position, still really cool, still the hometown guy going into this WrestleDream match. And him and Brody King have had a history of really good matches, like I said. First thing that comes to mind is that coffin match where Darby was choked out afterwards and then just let off the ring apron and fell into the coffin, essentially. But I don't see Darby losing here, especially after losing to Moxley somewhat clean for his title shot and then going into Washington. If he lost 2 in a row, it'd be pretty bad booking. So I'm going to go with Darby Allin.
Yeah, I think that one on the ring apron was a battle royale where he eliminated Darby by choking him out and then letting him down when they were standing on the ring apron.
Yeah.
But anyway, Darby, Brody's the figurative mountain for Darby to climb, a little bit easier than climbing Mount Everest, I would assume. But the story what they're telling with Darby Allin, and I think with how they were looking to get him over as a championship contender, and then they pulled the rug out from under him for whatever reason, I think they still want to keep him strong. I still think they see him as a future world champion at some point, maybe in 2025. So they'll have David beating Goliath here. So Darby.
All right. You guys got both of the Davids beating Goliath. We got Darby. Micah is on Darby. Rob Ryan's on Darby. But Sweatpants Joe on Brody. I'm going to go on Darby. I think Brody can always take this loss. Never look bad. He'll always come into a match looking good. You need Darby Allin to be kind of propped up, especially. Do you buy that could be a long-term play for the AEW title? Could this be the beginning of a run up to the AEW title for Darby Allin?
Well, it's weird because he was just already there, and then he does the open challenge, and I wouldn't say Brody King, even though you were already there, Brody King's not a number one contender or anything. It's not like it just shoves you right back into the picture. And obviously it all depends on what happens in the main event I think Darby has more history with Moxley than Danielson, so we'll get to that pick. But I don't know. They could go a few different routes. He's definitely always in the conversation as a pillar.
Okay. What do you think, Parthy? I'm thinking it's the beginning of a run. I don't think he's going to challenge the next pay-per-view. Maybe
Agreed.
a 6-month run that gets him to the spot where they could have Danielson drop it to Allen and retire.
Finish the story.
Yeah, long distance, somewhere in 2025. Like I said, he's probably a future world champ.
It's just like he said. By the
There's
way,
some attitude in that.
there's a little attitude. Sometimes Parthy thinks he always like when something comes up, he thinks he's always already said it. Like, oh yeah, just
I
like
already said it. I said he's a future
I
world
seem
champ.
to remember. I seem to remember somebody in the chat saying, "Ooh, looks like they're not doing Bloodline Civil War at Survivor Series, but looks like that could be coming up to piece."
We got it. I will not rip him for the next 2 weeks after that Raquel Rodriguez appearance.
That is a little ridiculous. That was a little ridiculous to call. Speaking of ridiculous, Jack Perry, the fucking scapegoat. You know, can the guy catch a break? Versus Katsuyori Shibata for his AEW TNT Championship. This one's easy to me. It'll be a great match. Shibata should win it at some point, but Perry will ultimately walk away victorious, and he'll do his like flex where he looks like me, basically flexing.
Yeah, scapegoat will win. Great match. There might be some Cry Me a River chants. Who knows? Might even be some elite shenanigans, but Perry's been seemingly doing it without them. And Shibata, great wrestler, but yeah, not tonight. It's gonna be Jack Perry.
Yeah, Shibata's fine. He's got the cute little, iPhone translator gimmick, but Jack Perry, they'll keep the title on Jack Perry for now. I don't see anything big happening here.
All right. Yeah. Perry with a clean sweep on our card. By the way, clean sweep. So is MJF filming Happy Gilmore 2 now?
I guess that's the impression I got.
That clip did look pretty good. It looked like MJF was MJFing, so it should be pretty entertaining.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see the footage that somebody filmed of the set?
They're like coming out of the courthouse or something.
They were basically
Whoa.
coming out of a courthouse, and like media was surrounding Happy Gilmore, and MJF is playing like brother friend like role of like Happy Gilmore, like get out of the way, like like stuff like that, like
Oh,
like,
amazing.
Yeah, it should be good. That's what I saw, right, Parthy?
Yeah.
Okay. With that said, 3-way match coming up. We only know like a 3-way here on Wrestling with Emotion. Real Ospreay, Ricochet, and Konosuke Takeshita, my Takeshita, and that's why he's gonna beat Ospreay, he's gonna beat Ricochet, and he's gonna become the AEW International Champion.
Oh man.
He's gonna
Right
take
off
a
the
shit
rip.
on those fools.
So how do you see it playing out though? Like
let me tell you how
Ospreay
it's playing out.
yeah, no, please.
This is a classic example of right now, everyone going into it thinks that Ospreay and Ricochet are the showstoppers, thinks that they are the ones that are going to blow them away. Instead, it'll be Takeshita with his top rope moveset and some of the other weaponry that he's going to bring out that'll be truly taking their breath away. And then I think they'll do some move where they'll take each other out, and then Takeshita will bury both of them.
Yeah, it's good reasoning, and I could totally see it happening. I am going to go with Ricochet, however. I think they just brought him in. The finish with Takeshita going in, I think you could take Takeshita and Ospreay and spin it a little more without the title, Don Callis family-wise, even though even with Kyle Fletcher involved in that whole picture. And then depending on who comes out of that, Takeshita and Ospreay both have storyline options outside of that, I think. And Ricochet bring him in, being the hot new guy, showing everything he can do, going on a win streak, getting to Will Ospreay right away. I think it's a perfect time to throw this on him and have him on weekly television, because you can already have both of the other guys on there as well.
Well, then I'm going to make it a 3-way split, because I'm going to go with Will Ospreay. Because I don't see them putting the belt on Takeshita. I was about to.
Whoa.
I think they have something else in line for him down the line. I think it's Okada in the finals in the Continental Classic. I think that they've teased that a little bit, and I think that's what they got in line for him, and not the international title. Also, a little thing I heard is AEW usually does not change titles in multi-person matches. That goes for the world title and the international title, and a few other things that I noticed on the Go Home show. But yeah, I think Ospreay retains.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. We're split there. Micah has Takeshita and Rob Bryan and Sweatpants Joe both on All Spray. All right. With that said, we got this one. Tag team match, the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The Young Bucks versus, I can't believe I'm saying this, Private Party. I wanted nothing more than Private Party to climb the ranks and become, superstars in AEW. Hopefully, this is the match where they do solidify position. They kind of remember that they were a pillar of AEW as well, Zay and Gwen. But with that said, I think there's almost 0.0000000% chance that we're seeing a title switch here.
Yeah, I agree. Maniac and you and I are the biggest Private Party supporters, but I just, like you said, it's tough, especially in this EVP reign era of the Bucks in this tag division. Private Party's up against a lot here. I think this will be a great match, and hopefully Private Party, like you said, Maniac reminds everybody they've been around from day one too. They were one of the teams that beat the Young Bucks in the early days of AEW, so it's not like they can't do it. Just not tonight. And bring back the Shots entrance song. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't see Private Party. Private Party are fine. They're good, but I don't see them having been built up to be the ones to take the titles off the Young Bucks. So the Young Bucks retain. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's an easy one. And it's the first one. Well, besides Jack Perry, besides Jack Perry and the Acclaim that we are all on a sweep on. With that said, kicking off the next round, I will do so with Micah's pick. We've got the AEW Women's World Championship, Mariah May versus Willow Nightingale. Here Micah says the story culminates. Willow Nightingale, your new AEW World Women's Champion. Slick, thoughts on that one?
I get it, because Micah's a little, as Sammy Guevara would do, like this. But I do think they've been built, like, obviously Willow's always really had this hype train behind her. AEW's always booked her great, in my opinion, and they're doing so really ramping up right now to where I was thinking this on Dynamite when her and Mariah faced off after the four-way match, and then Mariah was on commentary. It does look like this could be the spot where they put the belt on Willow after all this hardship and going through Mercedes and then the other stuff. I just think it looks too much to me for me to pick, and I can't pick against my girl. So it's glamour time. Mariah retains. Willow's never going to be out of the title picture, and she's always going to be over. So not now, not over my girl. We'll see you, Willow.
Yeah,
I'll give you credit because you really just wanted to say no, Mariah, but you did a nice expanded answer, and so good job to you. Like, what do you got?
Thank you.
I mean, after all they've done to build up Mariah, they're not just going to take the title off her. As popular as Willow is, and she's held the TBS title, and she's over with the fans. I think Mariah is basically holding onto that title for a rematch with Timeless Tony Storm, whenever gets done down the line.
This is the perfect spot to make Mariah's heel character even more heelish and have like a very controversial way of winning over one of AEW's top women faces.
Agreed.
I agree as well. I think there's no way Mariah May loses. Good luck, Micah. Everyone else on Mariah May. We got this is a little bit out of order, but I think this is a little bit more obvious. 2 out of 3 falls match, Hologram versus the Beast Mortos. If Hologram loses this match, he's out of AEW, in my opinion. Like, there's no way. Like, this is his first big match, essentially. So if he loses this match, I'm done with him. I will not pay attention to him ever again. Hologram, I got him as a winner.
So I do think this would be Hologram's 15th win in a row in AEW. And I think there is no reason this match should have this stipulation at all. So I think the only reason it does is so Hologram can take a pin while also not affecting his win-loss record going 15-0. So I'm gonna go with hologram.
Yeah, they'll probably have the Beast Mortos come out and take the first pinfall, and then Hologram makes a gallant comeback, 2 straight pinfalls, and wins in the end. Hologram's basically Tony Khan's pet project. He's not going to let him lose an entire match, so Hologram.
Yep, hologram it is. Of course, you got Sweatpants Joe on Mortos, so I won't wonder how that happened. But
Is he drunk?
Sweatpants Joe on Mortos in that one. So this one, am I crazy? Like, I know I've paid attention to the TV. Like, this is kind of like a blender match, as they call it. Just kind of gets thrown together at the last second, essentially.
Well,
I mean, this is a banger. This could main event a WrestleMania party.
Didn't Jay White get taken out by Hangman, like on TV in storyline or something?
Maybe
A while ago?
Yeah, that would have been a long time ago.
Okay, gotcha. I just missed the segment where they came back and said this was happening at WrestleDream. I only found out this morning, essentially. But yeah, again, listen, I don't care getting caught in my pants down. It happens. Hangman Adam Page, Jay White, you got the Bang Bang Gang maybe with some. I just can't see Adam Page losing on the run he's on right now. He needs momentum, and obviously they're just like Mariah May and. I mean, are we going to see Swerve and Page down the line again, or is that finished?
That's going to be a segment on that Swerve's going to return, but that's going to be more so because of the Hurt Syndicate, Hurt Business, whatever they're going to be called these days.
If he's there scheduled to return and they do that before this match, you never know. He could come out again and just ruin the match for Swerve.
Would you want to see that? Because they did have kind of a big blow off at the cage with kind of like ending the show. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind waiting. But oh man, I really don't think Jay White can take a pin here.
Yeah, wait. Oh, okay. So this is easy then, right? Swerve comes back. He goes, "You think we're done? Like we got unfinished business."
Yes.
And then Bobby.
Now you're thinking.
Now I am thinking. The brain is going. But yeah, I think now I can see that.
Or MVP comes out and says, "Your
business ain't with Hangman. It's done."
Wait, so you're saying that Swerve might join the Hurt Business Syndicate?
No. Swerve is going to come out and say that he has unfinished business with Hangman Page, or he's going to use some form of business where he says he has unfinished business. He's got business to take care of, etc. Then at that point, it's going to cue in actually being confronted / attacked by the Hurt Business or the Hurt Syndicate, whatever MVP's card said when he handed it to him.
I'm not going to go as far as saying that exact situation. I do think that's very plausible. I won't even go as far as saying Swerve definitely gets involved in this match. I think Jay White wins, though.
Wow. Listen, I know Jay White just got back. You want to give him a little momentum, but Hangman has all the momentum after the big win over Swerve in the cage match. You got to keep it on Hangman. I don't know if they're going to put him in the world title picture like I was predicting that he might, and then Swerve would be able to take it back from him in a big rematch, grudge match or whatever. I think Hangman was more focused on just keeping the title off of Swerve than getting it back himself, because now he's going into these little side quest feuds to basically sort of keep his momentum going. But and based on what we're going to be thinking about the championship match coming up, I don't know. I think Hangman goes over here. Regardless.
I agree. I think Hangman wins. Not going to stop Hangman. Jay White, unfortunately, they've shown they could just put a bunch of belts on him and have him take whatever losses they need to have him take, and it kind of is a good rep thing. And again, at the end of the day, Jay White's a top performer. I know that some people in the chat have disrespected him during his AEW run or said that maybe he feels disrespected. I think he's fine with where he's at. So with that said, that should be a banger. That should be a top 3 or 4 match on the card for sure. That's a WrestleDream match to me. Let's kick off this main event with our main event, Micah. Micah has Jon Moxley winning the AEW World Championship and retiring Bryan Danielson in front of the family in Washington. I do not. I got Bryan Danielson continuing this run. I think you guys are all really quick on this run. I've seen some talk that it could be like 3 to 5 months. I think we're looking at more of the range of like 7 to 10 months, ultimately. I think this is going to get us into next spring, early summer, and then they can hand it off then. But right now, AEW is not ready to lose Bryan Danielson. I know that maybe, he's got his life thing. I know he's got his life pride. He wants to keep his life in order. If I'm Tony Khan, I'm paying triple or quintuple what I owe Bryan Danielson to keep him there each and every day. So with that said, I got Danielson winning in a 30 to 40 minute classic that could also see the debut of Shane McMahon in AEW.
Yeah, I think that if anything, this is the spot to do it. WrestleDream. We were talking about big debuts earlier, possibly Bobby Lashley with the Hurt Syndicate or whatever they want to call that. And then here, I agree with you, Maniac. The final countdown has only just begun. As much as it would be like a good spot to retire, I was kind of on that train in the beginning that it's gonna be like a shorter run because they just want Bryan Danielson to have this next accolade and to go out on his high horse. But Moxley doesn't need to become 4-time AEW World Champion over Bryan Danielson in his hometown. What's, like you said, you made the best point yet. What is that gonna do for AEW? Moxley has been champion. He's been on TV all this time. Even if you bring in Shane and have the belt on him,
no offense,
it's not going to have people tune in.
You think the promos Moxley's cutting right now are going to do numbers as an AEW champion on a Wednesday? No fucking shot.
They're cool when they open up. It's like the tough thing, like the underground style. Hint, hint.
Yes.
But yeah, no, like it's just not the time. I think that would tank AEW, to be honest. Danielson retains hometown. Yes, chance all over the place. And then here comes the money.
Parthy had a little smile when you said that could tank AEW. What do you got, Parthy?
Well, first off, they got to pull the trigger with Shane McMahon at some point, and if they don't do it now, when? We've been calling for this for weeks. They have to give us what we want, you know?
Give it to me! Give me what I want!
So if you're going to do it, just pull the damn trigger. And if they're going to pull the trigger, they're not going to do it with Bryan Danielson winning. And if you're talking about a hometown match, what better way for Bryan Danielson to go out than to basically go out in Tacoma and basically drive right home to his family and give that little sting, retirement. By the way, he's not going to retirement. He's going to semi-retirement. He's just going to retire from full-time wrestling. He'll come back around.
He's going to go home.
Your Brock Lesnar's and so get that sort of schedule, once in a like every 3 months, have a dream match or something. But if he's going to go out, he's going to want to give that farewell speech to his home state, his hometown area, and say, you guys are great. I love you. And I'll see you soon. This is not over. But the injuries are starting to mount. He said that he needs next surgery by the end of the year. And there are minor reports coming out that he's not feeling his strength in his legs as much. So how much time? You're not going to give him a 5-month, 10-month reign as world champion. As much as AEW needs it, he just can't keep up. And what better way for him to go out, not just in his hometown, not just with a big angle where Shane McMahon might be involved, but against his own Blackpool Combat Club co-leader that he founded the whole thing with, and he goes out on fighting him going down like that. I think this whole thing was just to get the belt on Bryan, to get him in that lineage, to get him one nice moment. And they're giving him all these matches like a rematch with Okada and all these just to give him all the matches that he can before he retires from full-time wrestling. So I actually think there's a big angle. At least they're making it seem like there's a big angle behind Jon Moxley, whether there's Shane McMahon involved or not. I think in order to culminate that, Jon Moxley has to win this.
Did you say Bryan Danielson can't keep up?
With all these injuries. Eventually, he's just got to give out.
It's October 12th. He needs it by the end of the year.
You
love your dirt sheets. There's reports his legs aren't as strong as they once were. No shit, dude. He's fucking old.
He's banged up is what it is.
He's banged up, but it's
I think Parthy lets the real life blend into the wrestling. The case in point, thinking that they were going to do Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline at Survivor Series. Like, there was no chance that was going to happen.
Yeah.
What better way? What other opponent is he going to go out, and what better place is he going to go out?
This is going to be the memorable Bryan Danielson championship run that he goes out on. This is a fucking whimper.
Yeah,
he just got this title.
Yeah, so what?
Defended it like
he got this title 40 days ago.
Who's going to defend it against Full Gear?
Dude, a guy like Bryan Danielson, you think he's going to end his career with like a shitty ass title run like this?
A 40-day title run? A 40-day title run? A 40-day title run?
Tony Khan gave it to him. He probably didn't want the title run. It was a nice moment for him in London. He got to enjoy that, but he doesn't want to go on a long title run. He's beaten up. He wants
He
to go
wants to
home.
lose in his hometown to John Moxley.
Parthy, all this shit he's saying is to work you like a fucking mark.
Cody Rhodes taught me how to lie. I
All
love
he was
lying.
saying was, I'd be fine with retiring. I'd be fine with never wrestling again. When he was talking about All In, and I knew he was working us. I knew he had said that he wants to go to a part-time schedule. So the stipulation about him never wrestling again, I didn't buy for 1 second. That's why I picked Brian to win the world title at All In. And now I'm gonna pick him to say that his short title run's going to be over. He's got to get surgery. He's got to recover. He wants to go home. He wants to go out in Seattle, basically Seattle, Tacoma, Seattle. It's basically the same thing.
What
No,
about
it's not.
beating? What about beating? That's definitely not the same thing. What about
show some
beating
respect.
Moxley, and then Copeland returns to challenge him? Keep in mind, these two were main eventing a WrestleMania 3 years ago.
Is he due to come back? Has there been anything about
the
he's getting ready to
timetable
come back?
has to be close?
Yeah, it's got to be. And we haven't heard a lot. We haven't heard.
And
What
he's
does
not.
that have to do with Brian? They're basically putting on a WWE match for its own sake.
Parthy. So now we're gonna act like AEW doesn't acknowledge stuff that happened in WWE.
They do, but it's not
Okay.
the way. It's not the reason to do it because they had a main event in WWE. What's
Yeah, they did. They had a whole feud about Bryan Danielson like impeding on his Mania shot. They had a whole feud about it. Parthy, do you remember 3 years ago?
Did they still on
They
screen?
never had a blow off. They never had a blow off about that at all. It was just that Bryan Danielson came in and joined in on the WrestleMania spot. Then Edge got the WrestleMania spot, or like at a future pay-per-view, and that was it. There was never any blow off about it. There was never any discussion. It was a huge issue.
But
Between
they're both
them.
baby faces. They're not going to just throw them together. Well, okay, AEW does throw them together, but is Adam Cole going to be the one to beat Bryan Danielson just getting back from a major injury?
No.
Only you think Bryan Danielson is losing in like the next 2 to 3 weeks. And you and Micah, by the way. You're on a great island. You and Micah.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. We will see. Because this is the show where it's wrestling with your conscience? No. This is the show where it's wrestling with your budget? No. It is WrestleDream. It's a big day ahead. It's Mikey Parthy. It's Slick Al. It's myself. And it is Wrestling with Emotion.